Hey, friends, welcome back to the Soul Warrior podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into one of my most favorite topics. It's very fundamental in our universe, somewhat controversial at times, and that is the topic of love. But what is love? We all know what it feels like to love someone, your family, your friends, a partner, of course, yourself. But love isn't just a feeling, it's action, belief, energy. It's sometimes messy, sometimes miraculous. In this episode, we're exploring the many faces of love, the ways it motivates us, shapes us, and yes, sometimes even drives us to do crazy things. Let's talk about it. Is love even real? Because or is it just some kind of like design that allows people to have attachments and procreate? It's one of those topics that can be quite controversial. And while people are in the loving stage of life where everything's going well and they're just surrounded by gratitude and maybe they're feeling in love with somebody. And so the sun is shining out and the flowers are blooming and the birds are chirping and they're frolicking in the fields with glee. And they're like, yes, I just fell in love with somebody. And oh my God, they're the best person in the world. So, but then that, like if that was love, then what happens like 6 months later or like a year later when it starts to turn into like everyday living with a partner and then fighting over chores and money and or getting jealous out in public? So love can actually motivate some really negative things in life. Just kind of want to talk about it in somewhat of a controversial sense because um it's just something to think about. It's really something to think about and something to place. In my experience, the more you think about things, the more you challenge those belief systems. It's not that it's going to like pop the bubble of what love is all about. If anything, it will reinforce what love really is about. So that's the point of what we're going to be talking about today. So if anybody's getting charged, just follow through, okay? Just hold off for a bit, and let's just see what we come up with today. So let's start off by talking about the philosophical versions of love. I mean, you know, people say that love moves the universe. The very fabrics of design is built on this concept of love. If anybody has taken any psilocybin and had a mushroom trip, you really understand what love is all about. You feel love within your body, throughout the universe. And it's not like you need a definition to understand this is love, literally love. Everything is freaking love. So what even is it? And when we start to define it through language and terms and things like that, it starts to get a little muddy because you can just say everything's love. you know, can say that. But then people start to get a little like weary when negative things start to enter the picture. It's like, oh, well, if you love me, then why didn't you come to my birthday party? Well, if you love me, why didn't you buy me flowers? If you love me, then why did you yell at me? If you love me, why would you say no to me? Love being part of the fabric of design in the universe. You take a look at nature. Nature is the best demonstrator of what this fabric of universe is about. Even in the Bible, it really says to know God's face, look at nature, look at the trees, look at the mountains, and then you'll see God's face that way. So basically, you look at nature, it tells you a story of what love's all about, down to, plants and how they will grow and be vibrant when given nurtured environment. For example, when the sun is shining on it, it reaches for the sky, it blooms, right? There's this beautiful aspect of things that procreate. For example, will procreate. The mother shows endearing traits to their little cub. They'll lick them, they'll cuddle them, they'll protect them from other beings, other threats that come around. They will even risk their own life to protect those babies from threats. So love can be somewhat of a very powerful force within nature. It moves things along. You take the sun, for example. It shines its brilliant light on everything on our earth without asking for anything in return. And it literally charges everything here. Things would not exist without the sun's presence, without the sun's powers or whatever it gives us. This photosynthesis for the plants then give us air. Animals need it to see. Not all animals. There are things that survive in the dark, of course, but the sun literally makes the world go around. I mean, it charges the world, and I mean, if the sun goes out, we're going to be fucked. So, you know, but the point is that the sun gives to the world without receiving back. So it's this act of giving, this act of giving to something else. But what does that do? If anything, somebody can say that that actually just makes the world go round. It actually just contributes to life's cycle. So why do we then want to call that love? Is that love? Is love necessary to make life continue on? Why is it that when people or animals or, whatever else procreates, especially during and after birth, love is super strong? I'm sure we all know of the mother that's willing to lift a car off of her kid through adrenaline just because of how much love is there. But is that love, or is that just protection of new life? When we start thinking about these actions that are supposed to be demonstrative of love, we use the word love. Maybe it's because we only had simple terms back in the day, or maybe it's just a simple summary to give it. So what even is it? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? Is it a belief system, like a value? So even if I don't feel the thing there, I'm still going to act in a certain way because it's what I value, it's what I believe in. Is it something that gives meaning to our life? And what feelings are involved with love? And then why is it that different feelings can exist in different types of love? Psychologically, love can be considered a form of attachment. We need attachments in relationships that pair people together. And why it's so difficult when somebody wants to walk into a different direction and we are like attached. Emotions will get charged and people will do crazy things to win over that love to come back. They'll give flowers, they'll dance around, they'll do something completely absurd or invoke lots of humility just to demonstrate their love for that other person. But is that love, or is that motivated through attachments, not wanting to lose something that they think that they need in their life? I'm sure that on some deeper level, people will say, well, it's because I love you. It's something in you that I cannot let go of, and I'm attached to that. So maybe attachment is something that also comes with love because we love something so much, we want it all the time. And we all know that on the spectrum of love, on this side, it's like maybe super obsessed, like I'll kill a whole country for you kind of thing. And then on this side, it's like, well, maybe it goes to hate. Like, I fucking hate you. Like, but I love you so much that I hate you. I hate you because you couldn't be what I needed when I loved you. Another way to look at it is what's different? What qualifies something to the degree of love versus liking something? Like, you can just like somebody. I like you, but I don't love you yet. Love takes a little bit more time for me. I have to warm up to fully say the words love. I was watching Lucifer the other day, and there was like a whole season. He couldn't say he loved Chloe, who is the woman of his desire. Chloe's the heroine of the story. He couldn't tell her he loved her. That word could not form out of his mouth. He could say he liked her. He could say, I'll die for you. I'll go to hell for you. I'll do all these things for you. I can't live without you. I'd be vulnerable around you. You're everything that I want and need. But saying I love you, that took a lot. So why is this word such a powerful word? And why does it have to be separated from like? Like is just, I just like you. And how many of you know the feeling of, I love you, but I don't like you? I love you, but I really don't like you. So how is that there? So you don't necessarily have to like something to love something, and you don't necessarily have to love something to like something. So maybe that means love involves something more. Love is a little bit more of a deeper attachment. Love can mean, okay, now the stakes are a little bit higher. Because I love you, you're now a fully formed part of my heart, which means that if something goes wrong, all hell will be had. Like, that's what causes a lot of motivations to go in a negative direction. Love can easily turn into things like obsession. People will be stalking people thinking they love them. Love will create obsessions in the mind, maybe even depression if somebody can't express that love to somebody. or anxieties, like even anxieties before even saying the words, I love you. Or now that the words are said, now I have even more anxiety because now there's a fear of loss and grief and pain because now I love you. And now anything other than that will result in some kind of pain for me. And those types of degrees of love, if not regulated, could pretty much go very far in the extreme. Think about a lot of the negative things that happen in life can be argued to have stemmed from a version of love. Murders, crimes of passion, things like that. That comes from because I hate you so much, but I hate you. And what's underneath hate is often love. Love that's been hurt, love that's been injured, love that can't be manifested or expressed in the way that it wants to be. Loving something that hurts you back can ultimately turn to hate, which is actually a topic that I'm going to be talking about in my upcoming podcast. We're going to be talking about hate, which is actually one of the topics in my upcoming podcasts. So stay tuned for that. But this idea of hate, is kind of a repercussion sometimes of how deeply love is felt. And a lot of motivations come from love. A lot of the things that we do in life is to gain love. Ever since we're little, go to school, get the job, get the house, get the clothes, get the right look. Why? So you can attract. Why? So you can attract people to you, so you can feel love or, fall in love. Why do you make money? You make money so you can get the person, so you can have the comfortable lifestyle, so you can procreate and have love, and even in that process, doing things towards your passion is loving yourself, is falling in love with the universe around you, falling in love with things that will, create hobbies for you and have interests into things. And those all are emotions that get pulled around. And people will say, oh, I love that so much. Oh my God, I love nature so much. Oh my God, I love animals. I love just doing crafts. I love research. I love history. I love math. I love art. I love, hanging out with my friends. I love traveling. All these things it's just a word that people use to describe maybe emotions that are happening inside the body, or just an idea of something very passionate in somebody's life that they feel represented by. But that word can be tossed around really lightly, because another word that can feel that is like. Well, I like those things. But what really takes it to the next degree? Where it's like, I love it. I don't like it. I love it. What did he say in Ratatouille? I don't like food. I love it. Forget what he says exactly. We all know we just had Valentine's Day a couple weeks ago, which is supposed to be the holiday that represents love, right? That's what it's about. But maybe that's more of what it's about today. Actually, back when it first came around, it was about this St. Valentine's guy that basically was just marrying people in secret. And so it's representative of like a rebellious love kind of thing, a rebellious union. And then throughout time, it turned into more of like because it's around springtime. So it was kind of like an encouragement for people to mate and procreate and, roll into spring with new babies. And today, love is now this huge marketing chip to get people to buy flowers and chocolates and balloons and to take their loved ones to restaurants, fancy places. So it's like capitalistic's wet dream when Valentine's Day comes around. Now it's kind of just this big marketing thing. It makes a lot of people feel pressure to perform, pressure to, if I don't do that, then maybe that doesn't mean that I love them. So, love and this whole concept of love has really been gripped and used sometimes against us, like in movies and cinema and everything out there that will, market this idea of love just to entice people into it. And then they demonstrate love in ways that I don't even know if that's really love. For example, how many of us have seen those movies where somebody sees somebody, they see each other for the first time and they fall in love, and then, it's like this whole story around just trying to get together, and then they kiss, and then they go and they have sex, and it's like, oh my God, we're so in love with each other. And then end of the movie, oh, fairy tale ending, everything's great because they kissed and they had sex. But is that even love? Or is that just like obsession? Is that just stimulated energy? Is that just like finding something and glorifying it, um, or getting excited about the potentials of this relationship in the idealization stage, which doesn't really last that long, maybe 6 months to a year. And then things start to level out. And then that excitement fizzles out and it turns into something different, something more cultivated, something that requires patience and dedication and overcoming your own issues in life and having to grow with somebody. And at that time, it's less of a feeling or maybe more of like a deeper feeling, something that requires a little bit more of like meaning behind it or commitment, something that's a higher calling, like a decision to love someone. And it doesn't always require feelings at that point in time. So is love a feeling or is it an idea? Who knows? Maybe it's a lot of things, but we sure do use that one word to represent a lot of things. There are different types of love out there, and I'm just going to go through a few. One of them is called agape love. This is the love that's often seen in like spiritual practices, which is more of like an altruistic perspective. This is something that the Bible really talks about. And this is representative of selfless love, unconditional love, universal love, the kind of love that God has for humanity or God has for universe. Is this very foundational, unconditional love. And, basically the blueprint of what our universe is built on is love, right? This kind of love that doesn't ask for anything back, is just fully giving over of the self. And that's agape love. Now, that's not often the type of love that people have for each other because that's an unconditional love. Many loves that people actually feel in relationships and towards other things are quite conditional. They're conditional and somewhat transactional. If you think about it, it's like, I love you as long as you are the person that I want you to be. I love you because of what you do for me. I love how you see me. I love how patient you are with me. I love how kind you are in the world. I love all these things. But then as soon as that starts to shift or change, maybe feelings start to change a little bit. And maybe like that love isn't as strong anymore. Some people can argue they always love the person. Once you love somebody, that's it. Love doesn't just go away. If you love something, it doesn't just die. That's something I'm sure many people have heard. If it's real love, it's not just going to go away. But it may fade, or you may feel differently around it. You may decide, I can't be near you. I need to just go over here and live over here because even though I love you, you're not safe for me. So love doesn't always require a condition of safety, but it does require different conditions of boundary. In Socrates' times, when he was associating with Plato, they came up with a couple words for love as well. One of them is eros, which is like a romantic passion love. This is the type of love that I was talking about earlier, which the movies really promote, which is when somebody sees somebody else and then they feel this deep longing for them, a deep desire that's very passionate, and it causes people to really go through great lengths just to express this love to the other person and to acquire that other person for themselves. Not necessarily require, but because sometimes it could be selfless, but for the most part, it's a very passionate, romantic-based love. The problem with this kind, though, is it can be transformative or destructive. So, for example, when somebody falls in love with somebody, all of a sudden they may have all this motivation to, change their life around. I'm going to go back to the gym. Oh, I feel good. I'm going to start working on my business. I'm going to start, getting back in touch with my family again because this person has inspired me. Like I feel so good right now and I just want to do all these good things. And on the flip side of that, if it doesn't go in that direction, it can actually cause the opposite. It could cause somebody to get depressed or withdraw from family or stop doing all of those things. If they start to think, this isn't going to go in my favor, why bother with those things? It's not going to get what I want, so why do I need to do that anymore? And then on the far end of that spectrum, it's like, if I don't do that, maybe I'm going to stalk them, or maybe I'm going to kill their other partner or do something sinister so I can get that. So it's not always a healthy thing for people, those types of feelings. it can also turn to a neurotic type of experience, which will lead to all kinds of destructive things. Some could argue that actually destruction, even though it sounds very negative, is still another form of love. Sometimes you have to be destructive towards something because you love it. For example, if you have a family member that is addicted to some kind of substance, and that person comes to them and they say, "Hey, can I borrow some money? I need to go buy some drugs." And the family's like, "Nope, I'm not going to do that for you because I love you." The person who is addicted to the drug may feel very upset and get angry with that person because they're like, "I need it. It's going to make me feel better. I'm dying if I don't have it." And the family member may say, "I love you, so even if it hurts, I feel like this is what's best for you, so this is the decision I'm going to make." Love can also be Love can also require people to have difficult conversations with people, say no, tell them the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, but they'll do it because they love them. So sometimes love will be the key that's needed for people to really step up and do something that may be difficult or may invoke negative feelings within somebody else. But love is the ultimate call, and that will give people the motivation to do that. For example, a lot of times people think being nice to somebody and doing everything that makes that person feel good is the right way to love them. But others will say, actually, that's not. That's more self-fulfillment. That's more selfish in nature because they're doing it to preserve some level of peace or some level of connection. But others will say that actually, if you really love someone, you won't just do whatever that person needs to maintain the connection. You're going to do what's best for that person because you love them and you want what's best for them. You want them to feel healthy and feel whole. And so sometimes that means telling them something very honest that can be hurtful. And actually, that's the real definition of kindness. There's a difference between being nice and just, sometimes placating or hiding true feelings just to preserve the peace. And then kindness sometimes hurts, but it's an act of kindness because you're going to do this because you care about somebody. And so you'll do what is needed, no matter what feelings are involved. Another type of love here is called philia love. And this is more of like what people consider when you love a friend or camaraderie and having shared values and things like this. Like I love my friends, I love my coworkers, I love those types of people. It's just a great feeling to be a part of something and have that shared experience of values. Storge love, which is family love in natural unconditional bonds. So, you can love your mother, you can love your brother, you can love your cousins, your aunts and uncles. And that's not the same as romantic love. It's a different kind of love, but you'll still go through great lengths in that type of love relationship. There's also a love called pragma love, which is basically practical love. And that's the one I was talking about earlier with the long-term commitment type love, compatibility, things that like when you make decisions for a relationship that maybe you don't always liking, but because you have decided that this is the love that I have for this relationship, then that means that I'm going to put my feelings aside sometimes to do something for the greater good, to do something for the greater relationship. Whether my feelings are involved here or not, it's a commitment that I've made. And that being said, even within family systems, it's interesting how love can be different for each family member. Like love between a brother and sister may be very different than love between, a person and their parent. That type of love is something that's really strong in measure. Versus, for example, a love between a parent and their child, which sometimes people will compare. Oh, I love my parent more. That love is even stronger. But actually, the parent will say, "No, you have no idea. My love for you is way stronger than your love for me. You have no idea." Because think about it. Everybody's bound to lose their parent in their life. That's something that's like a rite of passage. Eventually, people go through, and that's kind of the natural order. But when a parent loses a child, people will say, "Oh, that's never supposed to happen. That's the worst thing. Who can survive that?" Right? So it's almost like in that, they're saying that the love for a child is higher than the love for a parent. That type of love is like huge. For example, when I first had my first son and I saw him for the very first time, oh my God, like I didn't know love before that moment. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I hate the way I sound when I get emotional. But But for real, dude, like I have never known love before that moment. And it was such a scary feeling to see something so precious and like know what it was going to have to face in the world, know that I couldn't protect it at certain times. I was instantly changed in that moment when I saw my son for the first time. My heart felt like the Grinch in that movie where his heart just like grows like three sizes bigger than it was. Like that's how it felt. And even now as I'm talking about it, and even now as I'm talking about it, I feel it well up in me. Like, what is that? It's a crazy emotion. I feel it in my throat. I feel it all in my body. It's just like, I want to cry. I want to scream. What is that? Is that protection? Is that meaning? Is that some kind of identity? Or is that, because think about it. I didn't even know who this person was when I first saw them. It was just a little person. Like they didn't have to prove anything. He didn't have to do anything for me. It was just a pure love towards him. And that is something that's incredibly special. And why they say like a mother's love for their child is like no other. I mean, mothers will kill for I was ready to kill for this baby. This is like some of the thoughts that was going through my mind. I was very possessive. I didn't want anybody to hold him. I was really scared of somebody dropping him. Like everywhere I was looking around, I was having nightmares of like wolves coming into the house and attacking him and me just like covering him and getting eaten by the wolves. Like it was just crazy nightmares of how much I loved this little person and how much I wanted to protect him so much. And to the point where I would, embarrass myself in public just to save this little guy. Like he was crossing the street one time and I'm screaming, "Stop! Lotion, stop!" All the other parents, like everybody stops. Like it's like the music stops. Everything's like, "Rrr." Like what was that? Even it was so embarrassing, but I didn't care. I didn't care at the moment because what mattered most was his safety. And so love will certainly cause people to do all matters of behavior that they would maybe never do and feel incredibly embarrassed for in every other circumstance. But at the moment, it doesn't matter. Love can be very blinding in those moments. So much so that I remember when I got pregnant with my second son, I was kind of worried. I was thinking, I don't know if I have enough space in my heart for another little person like this because all my love is just poured into this first child. And if I have another one, I'm going to worry. I don't want to take love away from the first one. What if I start diverting my attention to another little person and then the first one's going to get jealous? I don't want him to feel that. I don't want him to hurt at all. I don't want to take any attention away from him. I was worried, would I even have enough love for another little person? And when he was born, oh my God, here comes the emotions again. I was deeply surprised with how big my heart can actually grow. Like I never thought that I can have this much love in the world. So it's like, it's crazy what can happen to one's heart when love gets introduced. And it doesn't stop. Like it could just keep growing and growing. And that's such a beautiful thing to think about. I was so surprised with how much bigger my heart grew for this other little person and very humbled in life, Before I had these kids, I actually didn't really see myself having kids. My own relationship with my parents weren't always the best, and I didn't really want to have to go through that and potentially pass that on to my own kin. So when I got pregnant for the first time, I was a little nervous about it all. I don't know if it was possible in me to have that love come out, but it really was there. It grew. It was a beautiful thing, a beautiful experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. My kids teach me so much about love and what love is all about. It's not always about good feelings. Sometimes they hurt me with things they say or things they do, and I'm still find myself sitting here trying to gain their love back or try to earn their respect. Sometimes I've had to do the hard things out of love for them, like tell them no and give them discipline and take things away and deprive them of certain things that they want and teach them things that they're really frustrated about. And it's a really hard road being a parent, demonstrating love for children. So what is that though? It's a crazy feeling that wells up in the heart for sure. Like I said, as you see earlier, my voice was really shaky and tears coming in my eyes. And so it can be very emotional, not just a meaning or a value that people have, but it is and can be a very emotional experience. And if you think about it, when love isn't present, it actually can create a lot of mental health issues. People who are hating, people who have forgotten to love themselves, or people that have forgotten to love others, or people who feel unloved, that really shapes a lot of mental health issues. Sometimes people will get depressed or lose motivation in life because those feelings aren't present. Love can be a motivator and cause people to actually move forward with their life as well. So it's a very powerful concept. We don't really know what it is. There's a lot of things, but it's just a general term. So literally, it's a very universal thing. Like I said, the foundation and fabrics of what everything is made from. Let me ask you something. Which type of love are you mostly in touch with right now? Which types of love do you feel more deprived of right now? What type of love are you seeking right now? Are they feelings? Are they motivations? Is it something that you're trying to endure, like a long-term relationship or a challenging relationship with somebody? Certainly, I know one of the common feelings that comes up when love is expressed, like I was expressing earlier towards my children, it feels almost like a sadness, like sadness mixed with joy, mixed with fear, causes the body to like shake and convulse and well up in tears, and the throat gets tight. It's an interesting feeling, this love that we have. Sometimes the feelings aren't there, but it's a deeper calling. Love is a very universal thing. It's energy that drives growth and connection. It could lead towards the most beautiful things in creation and also the most horrible things and destruction. Where are you at with it? I think that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. If you found today's episode helpful, feel free to share it with others exploring mindfulness, presence, and self-discovery. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave comments, reflections, or even suggestion topics you'd like to hear in future episodes. Mindfulness isn't about being perfectly calm. It's about noticing what's happening internally and externally, even when things feel uncomfortable or messy. For more reflections, check out my upcoming blog, Mindfulness Does Not Equal Calm. Until next time, take care and stay present.